Welcome back to the cryptowrld channel, everyone. My name is Josh, and right now, Ethereum is bouncing around between important support and resistance in the short term, while Bitcoin is potentially repeating history as a new signal is now flashing, which I'll talk about in just a moment, so definitely stick around. First of all, just giving you a quick update here on the weekly Bitcoin charts, because right now the price of Bitcoin is still running into this important area of resistance, sitting in between around 36,000 to 38,000. And so at least for now, while the price of Bitcoin is still running into this important area of resistance, obviously we're seeing Bitcoin somewhat struggle, at least in the short term. And until we see a confirmed breakout above 38k, of course, there's still a possibility we could see some sort of rejection or consolidation underneath this area of resistance. That remains a possibility. But when we eventually see a confirmed breakout above 38k, whether that happens really soon or after a pullback, either way, when we break out above 38k, we have the next level of resistance at around 42k, and above that, more resistance at around 48,000. But remember, those higher levels only start coming into play. We only need to start focusing on them once we start seeing a confirmed breakout above 38,000, which as of right now has not yet happened. But obviously, in terms of the larger trend here on the weekly time frame, we are still clearly in a bullish trend, forming higher lows and higher highs. And once again, I've been bullish on the larger time frames since the very beginning of this year, which is still the case. But it is important to understand the difference between the larger bullish trend and these short-term bearish and bullish trends that are more visible here on the daily time frame, because obviously during this larger bullish trends that we've seen all year long, we do have some short-term bearish and bullish trends along the way, and the last couple of short-term bearish trends or pullbacks in the price of Bitcoin have resulted after a bearish divergence forming here on the daily time frame. And as I've talked about recently on the channel, we do have another bearish divergence forming right now here on the daily Bitcoin chart, because as of right now, the price of Bitcoin is forming higher highs in the candle closes, while the RSI is forming lower highs. And right now, as of recording this video, the current daily candle is sitting in the red, but it is not yet confirmed. So we still need to see at least this daily candle confirm in the red, close in the red. And ideally, if we see another consecutive red daily candle close after this one, that can help to confirm the bearish divergence that is forming right now on the daily time frame. And once again, a bearish divergence usually means we're due to see reduced bullish momentum for a time period in the short term relative to the daily time frame, which basically means we should not be expecting a lot of bullish momentum, and instead we're likely going to see either a sideways consolidation, if not a pullback within the next few weeks, if this bearish divergence actually confirms with those red daily candle closes. But at least for now, the price of Bitcoin has not yet broken this bullish price structure here on the daily time frame. Obviously, as of right now, we're still forming higher lows and higher highs. And so for those of you waiting for a pullback, in order to become more confident in any pullback actually happening, what we really need to see is actually a lower low form in the price of Bitcoin below a previous low here on the daily chart, because looking at the last couple of times this has happened after a bearish divergence, once again we saw that bearish divergence confirm with a slight pullback in the price of Bitcoin, and then the moment we started to form lower lows below some of these previous lows back here, for example back in April and also back in early July, lower lows in the price of Bitcoin after a bearish divergence, those two signals combined were fairly strong signals telling us that we're about to see a bit of a pullback, even if it's just a short-term pullback, before continuing the much larger bullish trend later on. And so once again, on the daily chart, we are forming that bearish divergence, which still needs to be confirmed. And in order to become more confident in a potential pullback, we need to see some lower lows, ideally below these lows just here in the price of Bitcoin, sitting at approximately 34,500 here on the daily chart. And if you're zooming into the shorter term, looking at the 8-hour Bitcoin chart, obviously, once again, right now, the price of Bitcoin is still forming higher lows and higher highs. As I've been saying recently on the channel, this clearly means we are in a bullish trend. So in terms of the trend and momentum, we are still clearly looking more bullish than bearish. And I would only start to flip more bearish again in the shorter term if we first of all see an initial break below this line, which is sitting at around 36.2k, and even more so if we see a break below this line right here, this line of previous support, sitting at approximately $35,000. But if you're looking at the 6-hour Bitcoin chart, once again, we do have that hidden bullish divergence still playing out, as I've been talking about over the last few days since back down here. And so once again, this hidden bullish divergence is bullish for the price of Bitcoin. We are still looking more bullish than bearish in the short term. And in order to invalidate this hidden bullish divergence, we would need to see a confirmed break below this low right here, sitting at approximately 34.6k. And so essentially that would be the point where it makes sense to start flipping more bearish. But until then, we are still looking bullish. And now if you want to trade this volatility in the price of Bitcoin, whether you think we're going up or down, you can make money no matter what direction the price is going. And personally, I trade over on Bybit with long positions and short positions. And in fact, if you use the link down below this video in the description or in the pinned comment to make a Bybit account, you can claim up to a $30,000 deposit bonus just by using that link, completing KYC and making your deposit. But unfortunately, due to regulations around the world, there's some countries where you may not be able to access Bybit from. And so if that's the case, there is also Bitflex as an alternative exchange, which does not require KYC. And so, for example, if you may not be able to access Bybit, there is also Bitflex, which is just like Bybit. And in fact, if you use the link down below this video to make a Bitflex account, there is an Apple Watch giveaway happening right now. And in order to enter that giveaway, all you need to do is simply make a Bitflex account using that specific link down below this video in the pinned comment or in the description, and then make a deposit of $100 or more worth of crypto and make one single trade on the derivatives market at Bitflex to enter that giveaway. And so if you're trading crypto anyway to take advantage of this volatility in the price of Bitcoin or Ethereum or a number of other cryptos out there, you may as well use those links down below to get those extra bonuses or win that potential giveaway. But anyway, now getting into the Ethereum part of this video, this is on the 3-day ETH to US dollar chart. And obviously just recently, the price of ETH has run into this important area of resistance, sitting in between around 2.1k to 2150 approximately, mainly based on this previous high. And obviously this has happened just after we hit the exact price target of 2.1k for this previous falling wedge pattern, which is now complete. And so around 2.1k is the resistance we now need to pay attention to. And as for support, we do have this area of support sitting in between around $2,000 to 2030. And this area of support is based on previous resistance, based on these previous highs back here in the price of ETH. And so right now we are actually finding a bit of support in that price range, which is good to see. This is bullish price structure anytime where we break out above resistance and flip that into new support. And so essentially right now in the short term, the price of ETH is chopping around sideways in between around 2,000 to 2.1k. And so with that approximately $100 price range, once again in between 2,000 and 2,100, we are basically chopping around sideways. And believe it or not, you can actually make a lot of money very easily in choppy sideways price action. And if you want to know how to do that, then stick around to the end of this video to find out more. And as for the daily Ethereum price oscillators over the last 1 day, these have not really changed all that much. So at least for now, despite the RSI being in overbought territories, we are still overall looking more bullish than bearish. And so in terms of the trend and momentum on the daily chart, even though we could see this slight pullback that we're seeing right now, obviously overall we are still looking more bullish than bearish, meaning we're seeing a lot more bullish price action than any bearish price action along the way. But if we do end up seeing a confirmed break below this area of support, so for example daily candle closes back below around $2,000, then in that case we also have this area of support sitting in between around 1850 to 1890. And as for resistance, if we actually see a confirmed breakout back above around 2150, then in that case, looking at the weekly ETH to US dollar chart, obviously once again we still have that major area of resistance in between around 2,000 to 2.1k on the weekly time frame based on this high and this high back here. And once again, as I mentioned in my last video here on the channel, if we see a confirmed breakout above this resistance, above around 2150, then in that case that sets up a technical price target at around $4,200. And so from the point of the breakout to that technical price target, we're talking about pretty much a 100% gain in the price of ETH. But it is important to remember that this is on the weekly time frame. Each one of these candles is an entire week, so that type of move will not happen very quickly. We will not see $4,200 tomorrow or even next week or even next month, because for example, if we saw a breakout very soon in the price of ETH above 2150 confirm with weekly candle closes above 2150 activating the price targets, with a move that large there will be some levels of resistance along the way which will potentially stop the price along the way. And so even though that price target will become active the moment we confirm a breakout above 2150, we will likely not see prices at $4,000 until at least next year. But what else is happening happening here on the weekly time frame, as I also mentioned in my last video here on the channel, is an initial breakout here in the weekly Ethereum RSI above this massive descending line of resistance that has been forming since the very beginning of 2021. And so this signal that we are seeing right now is a signal we've been waiting for multiple years, which is obviously a bullish sign. This is a sign of strength anytime where we break out above resistance, not only in the price, but also in the RSI. And oftentimes the RSI with these breakouts and also breakdowns, bullish divergences, bearish divergences, the RSI can often be a leading indicator for the price, meaning this breakout in the RSI is potentially foreshadowing a breakout in the price coming sometime soon. But remember, with this being on the weekly time frame, even if we saw a move all the way back down towards around 1.6k, I'm not saying that's definitely going to happen, but even if we did see something like that, we would still be forming higher lows in the price of ETH on the weekly time frame and forming this giant ascending triangle pattern. And also from where we are right now to the end of this triangle, we're talking about around 3/4 of a year where it's possible the price of ETH could continue forming this triangle. So keep that in mind as well. Even if we do see any pullback in the short term, that does not necessarily impact what is happening here on the larger time frames. And now, if you want to know how to make a lot of money in crypto, no matter if the price is going to the upside, to the downside, or simply chopping around sideways, which we could be seeing right now, then make sure to watch these videos popping up right here on your screen. The video in the top left shows you how to make money if the price is bullish or bearish using AI, but you should watch the video in the bottom left of your screen because that video shows you how you can easily profit from choppy sideways price action. But anyway, that is everything that I have to say for today. I really hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next video.